Hey everyone, it's Marc here, and I have with me another one of our Coaching Jungle VIPs who's been a member since the very beginning, I believe, back in 2015 of the group, and she's been a VIP the whole time since we launched that. Her name's Carden. She is the founder of Expert in You. She's an elite strategic growth advisor, and today we're going to chat about missed opportunities for coaches in case you're missing some of those opportunities. Anne, thanks for doing this.
Hey, Mark, it's great to be here with you again.
Yeah, so what exactly is Expert in You? What do you do with that?
Yeah, so it's really about experts building a really lucrative business around their expertise and their brilliance.
Got it. So you have, I know, a magazine, you've got
Mhm.
different things, all like an ecosystem, is that right?
Yes, absolutely. So, Expert in You really was a brand that transpired out of my coaching and consulting business years ago when I was helping people do this. I saw a lot of people buying into programs and things like that that didn't leverage their expertise and they were really struggling. And when I would ask them, what was your background or what did you do? They would give me something that was completely disconnected from what they were trying to do. So I said, why don't you build around that? And that's how I started working with professional service providers doing this. And then Expert in You kind of came out of that. I wrote a book, and then my brand just kept expanding with my podcast, with my magazine. And so we have kind of a whole marketing side um, of my business as well. But then I have the advisory side, the consulting side.
Got it. So coaches are missing opportunities, and that's not a good thing. We want them to grab each of them. Can you talk a little bit about some of those missed opportunities?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that I see, a couple of things, I help people get really high-end clients and really build at a premium level. So one of the mistakes people make is when they start out, they often what they're selling sort of in the beginning, their pricing doesn't maybe take big leaps, or they sort of stay in what I call beginner mode. And they go from beginners to trying to scale. One of the missed opportunities is they don't elevate. So if you think about, beginner is on the left, and then elevation would be in the middle. Let's take you up from that beginner stage, and let's go bigger. Let's really elevate your offers and how you're positioned in the market, the clients that you're getting, all of those things. Then scale. I see so many people that they don't do the elevation piece. They try to scale, they end up being frustrated because they've scaled the wrong thing. So that's the first thing. That's the first opportunity they miss. The second opportunity they miss is that they don't leverage high impact marketing strategies. And that is they go out there and they'll guest on podcasts or they'll speak and they'll be doing all this stuff, live streaming, all these things, but they're just busy. I see a lot of people doing it for visibility and they're not using it for revenue drivers and levers in their business. So one of the things I help people do is be able to really leverage those, any speaking opportunity, anytime you're using your voice, leverage that into a revenue opportunity and think strategically about that. So that means you can say no to a lot of things that you might be invited to speak at or speak on because it doesn't align with the revenue that you're wanting to create. And so I help them strategically kind of reframe how they're doing things in their business so they're not wasting a lot of time, but they're making big revenue leaps with every single thing they're doing.
Yeah, there's no sense going on 100 podcasts a year if you're not inviting people to take the next step with something that's compelling to work with
Yeah.
you to get your help. Just curious, because people have different definitions of high end or high ticket. What would you consider when you said high end pricing?
Yeah, so it would really depend on the amount of time or the delivery. When would say high ticket, think about $10,000 for maybe 2.5 hours of your time, or $25,000 for just a short stint, maybe 60 days or 90 days where you're working with a client, 50K, 100K, six figures, multiple six figures. Those are what I call high end and premium.
Got it. Because I feel like you're bucking the trend, but that's good to be contrarian, where the market seems to be people leaning more towards lower ticket, get people in for
Mm.
$27. Can be a tough jump making them go from 27 to paying thousands of dollars too, by the way. But I like that you're actually going the other way.
Yeah. And one of the things too, first of all, it's more blue ocean. It's not as busy in that in really the high end market, but also with AI and everything coming onto the scene, people that are offering courses and low end services, they're going to struggle more because the market is getting busier and busier. That's not slowing down. And with a lot of people losing jobs, they're looking to enter the industry because let's face it, there's no barrier to entry, right? But then everyone is competing for those same low value clients, mid-tier clients. One of the things that I have just talked about and against really forever is why would you be selling something for $97 and trying to get thousands of people into that, and then having all the administrative work and everything that goes along with that, maybe ads or all the busyness that goes with that, when you could bring in a client for six figures, one client. I mean, it's just such a simpler model. It's less complex, it's more profitable, and most people, if they have any real expertise, they have this opportunity, but they're not leveraging it. They kind of fall into what I call the funnel trap
Mm.
on social media. But even Mark, I was even part of organizations where they were teaching you how to bring in not necessarily low, I wouldn't call them low ticket clients, but they were still really undervaluing. And the whole idea was to get coaches to six figures, but six figures is barely an income by the time you pay out anything, taxes or anything. And so I just kept looking at the model and I kept thinking, what's wrong with this picture? Why isn't this working? Why is the math not working? And I realized that it was such a kind of just a trap for for these coaches that had so much more to offer and could be making so much more money. So that's where I shifted.
One of the people I've learned a lot of email marketing stuff from, he's in that world. I always remember back in 2016, I believe it was 2016, he opened up a membership type community and he has a big following. And he was charging $8 a month for the early bird, but then it was going to go to 18 a month. And he's given a lot of stuff in there. And I signed up like that's a steal because he has
Well,
such
sure,
great
why
stuff.
not, right?
Yeah, and he got 800 people in that first campaign, and he shot it down I think 3 or 4 days into it because
Yeah,
he's not the type to deal with these headaches, and people were, instead of submitting help support tickets, they were messaging him directly. He was going to have a private podcast available in that community, and it was delayed by like 2 or 3 days. He let everyone know, and they're freaking out like, I paid you $7 or $8 and you took my money. And he finally said, you know
exactly.
what, I don't need this. The reason he is able to get 800 people, though, he had a huge following. If you have someone who's just getting started, they're a few years into it, and they don't have that big name recognition, you're not going to get 800 people at that small amount. So is it really worth it to get a handful of people at a few bucks? It can be very difficult to make money and pay the bills that way.
Yeah. And not only that, if you're doing anything that's recurring revenue where maybe they're paying on a monthly basis, it's a lot more to keep that up than people realize. You have to keep track of people leaving. You have to keep track of people coming and onboarding and just keeping up with the whole volume thing. I think we're going to see such a shift in the market, volume versus premium. And even all the research I've been doing, Mark, around coaching and consulting, professional services, it's going to hit trillions of dollars this year and in 2027. And the one thing I kept seeing over and over again, and this is according to McKinsey and Deloitte and their research, is that premium is going to be where the market is and everyone else is going to fight at the bottom. So I'm super excited because I'm way ahead of that curve. I've been doing this for years.
Yeah. Well, I want to make sure people can check out your stuff before we sign off here. So where should they go next?
Yeah, so if you are doing any kind of speaking, whether that's podcast guesting or running your own events or whatever, and you want to leverage those into much bigger opportunities, $50,000, $150,000 opportunities or more, then maybe you want to apply to go to my next event, which is virtual. It's a 3-hour workshop and it's a high-level strategic event. There is an application process, but you can go to expertinyouworkshop.com. You can check it all out. And if it looks like a fit, you can apply to get a seat in the room, and it is limited spaces. We vet the room, so people have to really be in a place in their business where it makes sense for them to join the room.
And the next one's March 16th.
March 16th.
Got it. Okay, I'll drop that link in the comments. And also, I'll
Thank you.
drop a link if you want to become a Coaching Jungle VIP like Anne. We've got lots of great VIPs. I will put the link down below as well. Anne, thanks for doing this.
Mark, thank you so much. It's been great.
Okay, we've had Anne Carden on here, one of our Coaching Jungle VIPs. I'm Mark, and have a great day, everyone.